Welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane Williams and Paul Mason.
Byron, thanks for joining us on Manufacturing Tech Australia.
Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So we're here with Spee3D. This is like the pioneers of awesome 3D printing in the field, in situ, in Australia. So what we've got here is a 3D printer, and you can see here, this is something you drop in the field, print replacement parts on the go, but maybe I'll let you explain how it all works.
So let me talk about it. So what we're doing here is making metal parts quickly. So you can see a part like this. This will be printed, heat-treated, machined in the field. So what you see behind us is the printer. That'll build that in about 30 minutes. So you can see straight out of the printer, it'll look like this. We then heat-treat it, put it in an oven, all field-based, and then you machine it, you get to the final part. So the whole process to be able to build a part like this is less than a day.
Yeah, right.
So really what we're looking at here, so where's that useful? It's in heavy industry.
Yeah.
So think of industries like defence, think of industries like mining, oil and gas. Mm-hmm. If I break something, how do I get my kit running again? And that might be a coupling for an oil and gas site.
Yeah.
Might be stopping production, running at $1 million an hour.
Absolutely.
So it's not about the $50 part.
Yeah.
It's about getting your equipment running, which is costing you $1 million an hour.
Yeah, we're talking about supply chain earlier, and you've hit the nail on the head, because even in food manufacturing, we've seen cases where people are waiting months to get parts from Europe. If we could 3D print it, on the spot within a day, imagine that solving those kind of problems.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So even though the technology's 3D printing, what's it doing? It's really solving supply chain issues. So you need that part quickly, you can now do that.
Yeah, excellent. So I guess you're talking sort of gas fittings, vehicle parts. What kind of things can we print with this?
Yeah, so let me talk about materials maybe, because then that'll really expand the application. So you can do metal parts. Of course, we only do metal parts. So typically this one here is a bronze material. Yep. So this is your highly corrosion resistant material. So think about marine applications, saltwater corrosion, making very strong parts, making corrosion resistance.
Yeah.
So you got that. So then you got other materials such as aluminium.
Yep.
So 6061 aluminium, so standard aluminium parts.
Yeah.
So you think of automotive, aerospace, those sorts of applications in general industry. And then you got things like copper and stainless steel. Right. So in the food processing industry, for instance, it might be stainless steel parts.
Yeah, for sure. And what we see here is a great example of what you might just drop in a field somewhere remote. It could be in the middle of, in the desert in Australia somewhere.
Yep.
Near a minefield or something like that. So I guess, how does this work? Like, you literally just drop it in this container there. I guess you need a little bit of power. How does that all sort of work remotely?
Yeah, and then let me actually take a step back. I'll talk about our vision.
Yeah.
So why do we do this, and what's the vision of the company? One thing our vision is to be 2 hours from anywhere.
Yeah.
So what we really mean there is, if you're in Antarctica, if you're on an oil rig, if you're in the front line in Ukraine, we want to be able to access this technology within 2 hours.
Yeah.
So what that means is, as a company, we have to design these things to be robust, reliable, movable, be able to really withstand the extremes. So we've done -10 testing, we've done 40-degree testing.
Right.
So set up in a shipping container, relatively easy for industrial customers to be able to move shipping containers around.
Yeah.
Take them into the cold, take them into the heat, rain, all of those things. So highly durable, robust, reliable, move around, put it wherever you want, and use it whatever you want. It's really interesting now as a business, because someone comes to us and says, hey, can I test this at -10? We're like, go for it.
Yeah.
The next ones are actually going into Middle East.
Okay.
And they're like, you realise there's going to be 47 degrees.
Yeah.
And we're like, that'll be a good test.
Yeah.
So we'll get that feedback over the next 6 months to see how it goes in that situation.
Cool. So where have you got some of these deployed at the moment?
So we've got 13 systems in Ukraine. That's a big market for us at the moment. We support 6 defence forces across the world.
Right.
So that's on the defence side. On the industry side, focusing on customers that are now manufacturing parts for other customers.
Yeah.
But then we're hoping to really enter the big industrial sectors here. So what do we do in Australia? We do mining, oil and gas.
Yeah.
That's really our 2 next targets, because they have the same problems that defence have in that they've got large, expensive infrastructure you need to keep running.
Yeah.
Same as defence. So what we're doing for defence will translate directly. So that's really where we'd like to go next.
Fantastic. And I guess so in terms of the technology itself, what are the targets for that? Is it, you're trying to, reduce the time to print, increase the quality of the finish? What's the targets there moving forward?
So what we're actually doing is moving for larger parts.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see on the table here, you've got parts, roughly up to this sort of size.
Yeah.
This printer can do parts sort of this size.
Right.
So we're getting demands now from our customers saying, I want parts this size, as in 2.5 metre size.
Right.
And so currently we do football size. How do you get to 2.5 metres? Well, we just released a printer that can do parts about 2.5 metres and about 2 tonne in size.
Gee.
So that's really where we're moving, is into the manufacture of large parts. So it's those same industries that we talked about: mining, oil and gas, defence, rail, marine.
Okay.
When you're making big parts, 2 metre parts, it's difficult in any process. Difficult in machining, difficult in casting, forging, whatever it may be. So having the option to be able to flexible manufacture large parts is really where we're moving to next.
Fantastic. That's really great tech. Thanks for coming on the show, Byron.
Good. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane and Paul, recorded on the traditional lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people. For more information, jump on the manufacturingtech.au website. Remember to hit the follow button to join us again next time as we continue to explore the intersection of manufacturing and technology.